Hey, before we jump in, if you get any value out of this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below for more content from @BrandTechOff. Okay, so have you ever wondered what really separates a truly great film from just a bunch of moving pictures? It's not about having the fanciest, most expensive gear, and it's definitely not about having the biggest stars. It's about understanding a few core principles. So let's dive into this and really demystify the 3 fundamental pillars of powerful filmmaking.
You know, this quote just perfectly captures this moment we're in. The old gatekeepers, they're gone. The tools to create amazing things are in more hands now than ever before in history. This isn't just a small change. It's a full-blown revolution. And honestly, it's a massive opportunity for anyone, and I mean anyone, with a story to tell.
That's right. The days when you needed a huge studio budget or famous actors just to make something that people would actually watch, those days are over. Thanks to social media and all this accessible tech, you can connect directly with actors, with crew, and most importantly, with your audience. You don't need a middleman anymore.
And just look at the difference here. I mean, this isn't just a simple upgrade, it's a complete paradigm shift. On the left, you've got a classic Arri Flex 35mm film camera. It's heavy, it's expensive, it was the industry standard for decades. And on the right, a modern digital camera that literally fits in the palm of your hand. That massive financial wall, that barrier to entry, it's pretty much crumbled.
So that is the big question, isn't it? With all this new power right at your fingertips, what are the essential things you really need to know to create something that actually connects with people on an emotional level? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down, and it all comes down to 3 core pillars.
All right, let's jump into our first and honestly our most important pillar, the story. Before you even think about picking up a camera, you need a blueprint. A great story is the foundation that everything else is built on. Without it, even the most beautiful, breathtaking shots will just feel, well, empty.
And the most fundamental blueprint out there is the 3-act structure. It's so simple, but so powerful. Act 1, you set up the world and your characters. Act 2 is the confrontation. This is where the main conflict happens, where the tension just builds and builds. And Act 3, that's where you get the climax and the resolution. It's a formula that's been around forever because, you know what? It mirrors how we actually experience challenges in our own lives.
Now this map shows us that a story isn't just a straight line. It's a series of very deliberate peaks and valleys. See those plot points? They aren't random events. They are the hinges that swing the story in a totally new direction, forcing the character to react and constantly raising the stakes for us, the audience. This isn't just some dusty old theory. It's the engine that drives a great story forward.
Now, if you want a more detailed blueprint, we can actually layer another structure right on top of those 3 acts. It's called the hero's journey. So Act 1 is all about the hero and their normal, ordinary world getting a call to adventure. Act 2 involves facing all these trials and eventually earning a reward. And Act 3 is about the ultimate test and then the return home, but they come back completely changed. And here it is, the full 12-step journey. Think about your favorite blockbusters. I'm talking Star Wars, The Matrix, Harry Potter. I guarantee you will find this exact blueprint hiding just beneath the surface. It's an unbelievably powerful tool because it taps into these universal myths and archetypes that just resonate deep inside all of us.
Okay, so with our story blueprint locked in, we can move to pillar 2, the actual capture. This is where we start translating the words on the page into compelling sights and sounds. And just remember, it's not about having the fanciest camera on the market. It's about knowing the core techniques to make any camera work for you.
So the crucial thing here is mastering just a few fundamentals. Things like composition, right? Using the rule of thirds to create shots that are just pleasing to the eye. Understanding eye lines to direct your audience's gaze where you want it to go. And getting your headroom right so your subjects don't look all weird and cramped in the frame. But there is one element here that, I'm telling you, trumps them all.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. What's the one thing that immediately, instantly screams amateur when you're watching a video online or maybe a student film? It's usually not the picture quality. Yep, bad sound. An echoey room, muffled dialogue, all that distracting background noise. Bad audio can make an otherwise gorgeous video completely unwatchable. It's a total deal breaker. This quote says it all. Your audience, they'll forgive a slightly shaky shot or maybe some imperfect lighting, but what they will not forgive is bad audio. If they can't understand what's being said, the story is lost. And if the story is lost, you've lost your viewer. Sound isn't just an afterthought. It is literally half of the entire experience.
Which brings us perfectly to our final pillar, the polish. This is the magic of post-production.
This is where you take all your raw ingredients, your story blueprint, and your pro capture, and you forge them into a cohesive, emotional, and rhythmic experience in the edit.
And a huge part of that polish starts right back with the sound edit. This is where you transform a flat, boring recording into a rich, immersive world. It's about meticulously cleaning up that dialogue so every single word is crystal clear, adding subtle sound effects like the rustle of clothing or the hum of a fridge to build realism, and using music not just as background noise but as a tool to actually guide the audience's heart.
So in sound design, we basically use two main types of effects. Synchronous sounds are what you see. A character slams a door, you hear the slam. Simple, right? This builds realism. But asynchronous sound, that's what you don't see. It's the distant siren in a tense scene, or maybe the chirping crickets in a quiet moment. That's what builds mood and atmosphere.
Now, beyond sound, the very essence of editing is rhythm. The editor is kind of like a musician, but their instrument is time. A fast-paced action sequence is going to use quick, sharp cuts to create energy. A slow, emotional moment, you're going to linger on a shot, let the performance breathe. The pacing of your cuts is the pacing of the story. And this gives us a little peek inside the editor's timeline. You can literally see that musicality at work. Look how the cuts line out perfectly with the peaks in that audio waveform. This is exactly how editors create those high-energy montages that feel so incredibly satisfying to watch. It's a perfect marriage of sound and picture.
And there you have it. The story blueprint, the pro capture, and the final polish. Those are the three pillars that hold up every single great film.
Look, mastering these three pillars gives you the core knowledge you need. The revolution in filmmaking isn't just about cheaper cameras, it's about the democratization of knowledge. The framework is yours now. The roadmap is in your hands. So go out there and start creating something amazing.
So we'll end with this final thought. The tools are here. The knowledge is more accessible than it's ever been. The only thing missing from the equation is your unique perspective. The world is just full of stories that are waiting to be told. So the only real question left is, what story are you going to tell?